We met at the DSS at the time, not as claimants, but we were members of staff there. It's true, what are you laughing for? I won't put the mic down when it's your turn. Anyway, we wrote, yes, that was it. So, working at the DSS, I always remember we were told that Margaret was going to be joining our department. But before, we were told to watch out for her, she's a troublemaker. So, as you'll see, I'll now read out my first impressions of Margaret. It was not love at first sight. And you started yet? Then, out of the blue, my life was transformed. I was informed by my boss that a new member of staff, Margaret, was being transferred into our office. I was also told she was a troublemaker. Believe me when I say this sort of office gossip was endemic where I worked. For some reason, colleagues felt compelled to cast comment about other members of staff without checking up on their facts, with Margaret being the latest in a long line. Having been warned of a potential disruption, we awaited her entrance eagerly. The result? A plump black lady of limited height who smiled a row of sparkling white teeth. Being a normal hot-blooded bloke, I also couldn't fail to notice she had a pair of extremely impressive breasts. A deep, revealing cleavage that blossomed into two large melon-like balls of fat that cried out, "Mind the gap!" I said it wasn't love at first sight. Other than that, though, there was nothing that jumped out of her and demanded attention. She was a typical tat kind of woman. Tits, arse and teeth. I should also mention her hair, a tight curly perm, as it quite simply looked appalling. It was so bad she could have gone on Stars in Their Eyes as the female version of 70s singer Leo Sayer. So I can't say it was love at first sight, as her hair and mouth, she was very loud, frightened me off. Still, we worked together for a few months and I began to realise she was actually quite a nice person and not a troublemaker at all. Not having had a girlfriend before, I didn't recognise the feelings that were beginning to stir in my loins whenever she entered the room, putting a tingle in my genitals down to my wearing the wrong size pants. Eventually though, I realised that certain parts of my body were not for urinating alone and decided to confront the matter head on. Conquering my nerves, I asked if she would like to spend some time with me. Luckily she agreed, and we decided as friends that I would attend a Pentecostal church gathering. In return, she would watch Wolverhampton Wanderers with me. I know how to treat a bird. Anyway, you think I've slagged her off? She's now going to slag me off, I suspect.
Well, you're going to have to go over it because I can't really... Sorry about that.
That's alright.
Lower.
Good evening. Okay, I'm just going to let you know what I thought of Bobby when I first met him. Right? When I first saw Bobby, I can't say I was impressed. It wasn't how you say in England, masculine. Indeed, even his friends rechristened him Charles Hawtrey from the Carry On fame for his lack of masculine qualities. Prior to returning to Britain, I came across the expression, a man's man. I was excited by the prospect of meeting some of these proud yeomen of England. My lustful mind fooled me into thinking I would be rubbing shoulders with macho James Bond types, boasting, bulging biceps and a hint of danger to match. Alas, I was to be disappointed. As Bobby's character was more akin to Frankie Howard than Sean Connery or Roger Moore. Certainly he has a type of exaggerated femininity about him that is all too apparently, especially whenever someone meets him for the first time. Our dear friend David Nunn perfectly sums Bobby up when he describes him as being camper than a roll of big fluffy tents. Tall, skinny to the point of anorexia, and with a strange, eccentric type of humor. That was my Bobby. The cultural difference here is that in Nigeria, Bobby's jokes were getting killed as sarcasm and irony and just not recognized as a form of amusement. And as for the rest of Bobby's appearance, well, if I tell you it was a dead set for a TV makeover program, you may get the point. He hadn't had a girlfriend before I arrived on the scene, and it showed. His clothes were shabby and obvious hadn't been introduced to an iron, whilst his B2 Crusher shoes had apparently once been in fashion. I haven't even begun to describe his hair. So first to say that he cut it himself, and it kind of resembled a badly mown lawn. He said he was wrong to do it like that. I just thought he didn't own a mirror.